We're now officially all involved in EFL Choose Tap finals. If your club's playing, it's finals time. You'll find out more on EFL TV. For Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, your local community dealer. 1 week of finals down, second week coming our way in the Eastern Football League, and to talk all about that is the media manager, Ben Waterworth. Benny, 1 week in.
What a weekend indeed it was, Half. Great to see you again, and I suppose it was headlined by that Ringwood-Mitcham game that finished in a draw at full time. Yes. And Peter Baird, our man, was out there doing a fantastic job covering it live. If you missed what he did, this is how he covered it.
Steve Smith for the Mitcham Footy Club, but he's wrapped up in the tackle and the ball spills out to Ringwood. The ball's currently sitting with Adam Parsons in the centre of the ground. He runs to the forward 50-metre line, puts the ball under the green, and he's kicked it from 50 metres out. Adam Parsons puts Ringwood in front. A minute to go. And doesn't look at the celebration from Adam Parsons. I reckon he's doing a lap of honour here. He's saluting the crowd, although he's still going. And he's actually come right off. He's gone into the goal square. Mitcham, they've come run onto the loose ball. Last roll of the dice out for Mitcham. That's the kick's been smothered though, and the final time's gone. 3 points here at Vermont Recreation Reserve, and absolute signs of jubilation. Josh Tilley's just run out onto the centre of the ground, embracing his players. Absolute heartbreak here for the Mitcham Football Club, but scenes of jubilation for Ringwood.
Well, indeed. Great work, Pete, there for that thrilling game. Now, Divi 3 we'll get to because we've got a couple of games to get through this weekend. Such a busy weekend in the Eastern Footy League. Let's start Division 2 prelim final. Roval taking on Murrelbark at Jubilee Park this weekend. And Roval, a few nerves there. They've lost 6 of their last 8 finals. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right, Half. There's, I think, a few nervous people around the Roval Footy Club at the moment. So they want to bounce back after a terrible loss to Montrose last weekend. The D's kicked 10 goals in a row in between the second and third term. Brett Johnson's men doing a fantastic job. And Roval are a little bit shocked by that, I think. And not a lot of people were expecting that one. So hopefully they can bounce back. But they run into Murrelbark, Half, who I saw last weekend. Very impressive. That midfield, led by Cam Linford, of course, the Division 2 best and fairest, league best and fairest last year, in outstanding form. Kid Dalewski kicked 6 as well. Look, I've got a funny feeling about Murrelbark. I reckon they like the wide open spaces of Jubilee Park. Roval, it could be the second straight year where they go out in straight sets. So I think the Mustangs might get them.
I reckon Roval, in a tight one, can win that game in Divi 2. Yes, I think they can. And
excellent.
Just exercise those demons. Divi 3, there needs to be some demons exercised here too. North Ringwood take on Glen Waverley at East Burwood. A couple of big campaigns for North Ringwood last couple of years. Is that third time lucky for them?
Well, Brett Moyle and the team will certainly be hoping for that, Half. And Dan Senchik went out and caught up with Brett at training during the week.
Welcome to EFL TV, and we're here with coach of the North Ringwood Footy Club, Brett Moyle. Brett, massive game coming up this weekend against the Glen Waverley Hawks.
Yeah, no, it is, Dan. Can't wait for Saturday to come around, to be honest. So, opportunity to win a spot in the grand final. So, don't get to play too many games like this. And I guess when you get to my stage of your career, they're fewer and far between. So, yeah, can't wait for Saturday to come.
Has an attitude been instilled in the boys this season about premiership or nothing?
I think we've been like that for 3 years. So, I think it's. I mean, to be honest, I don't have to instill that too much. I guess when you feel how we felt grand final day last year, I think it's been. We've had to work pretty hard to get ourselves in this position again, and we need to make sure that we win on Saturday and get ourselves there for the big dance again, and see what happens from there. We've got to get there yet, though.
Pretty fierce opponents in the Glen Waverley Hawks this weekend. They beat us pretty convincingly this season, but what have you learnt from the losses?
You know, it was no, you're right. They beat us pretty convincingly. I think 7 goals, and sort of ran away with the game a lot in the last sort of 15 or 20 minutes against us. I learned a lot from that. I mean, I'd never seen any of their guys play before that, so we sort of went in blind. We've watched them a bit in the second half of the year, to be honest, when you sort of see that they're able to do that to us, and we've sort of watched them a few times, watched the game really closely on Saturday, so I think we learnt a little bit about that and a little bit about individual players as well. So hopefully we can put that, I guess, what we've learnt and help it work to our advantage on Saturday.
When you compare the last 2 seasons and the build-up to the finals, has the mood amongst the boys changed? Are they building up to it differently this season than the previous 2?
I feel like we're more on edge. Yeah, I do. Whether that equates to a different result or what, I don't know. But I think we're certainly more on edge. I think I am. I think I've worked harder this year. Not that I don't think I worked hard the other 2 years, but when you feel what you've what you felt. I mean, you just want to do everything you can to make sure the result's different. And I think a lot of the players have done that. They've sort of recommitted to one another again over the last 5 or 6 weeks. And I think we're on edge. So what that equates to on Saturday and beyond, we'll see.
Do you feel the last 2 seasons have given you a bit of a competitive edge, an advantage amongst the rest of the competition?
I don't know about that, but I think when you've been somewhere before, I think it helps. You know, the experience helps. Time will tell. Time will tell.
How have you as coach obviously dealt with the pressure so far this season? I mean, North Ringwood on top of the ladder, everything like that. Have you had to pull the boys back and say the job's not done yet, the lid's not off yet, things like that?
No, not really, because I think a lot of the year we have had a lot of injuries as the year's gone on, and we've had guys have opportunities. So competition for spots have been there a bit, so that's sort of built some internal pressure. As well as the result last year. I mean, I think our boys have learned over the last 2 years, and I don't think we did the other years either, but you just can't get ahead of yourself. So I don't think we have. And I think this year is different to last year, whereas I think last year we may have, going into finals, had some injured players. I played some injured players that I shouldn't have played, including myself, to be honest, that were underdone. Whereas this year I think we've had our injuries during the year, and we've got our players building and playing well at the right time. So hopefully that, like I said, hopefully that equates to something different on Saturday.
Which of the Glen Waverley Hawks boys do you see as the biggest threat this weekend?
Oh, they got 3 or 4 good forwards. They've got 3 guys who kick basically 40 goals plus, so they're all...
As a party, Gray, Carnelli?
That's them. So I mean, they're hard to stop. So we've got matchups set for them that we're confident that will work, but they're good players too. So we'll see how we go. And they've obviously got a pretty good midfield as well. So a big Fia down back. So I mean they've got some. I mean, you don't finish second on the ladder and nearly win a premiership last year without a good list. And they've got a good midfield, some good forwards and a pretty solid defence. So that all equates to them being pretty hard to beat.
We talk about the Glen Waverley Hawks, but you've got some really handy players on your side. Who have your better players been this season, do you think?
We've had a lot of guys who've gone from being fringe players last year to being our key players this year, which has been really positive. I mean, Jack Whelan's really improved out of sight. He's only a 19-year-old boy, but he's kicked 30 goals for us this year and been pretty good for us. Dwayne Kelly continues to play good footy on ball, and Big Tucky coming back in the second half of the year has definitely helped us as well. But we've got. I think our back 6 has been pretty good. I think Max Melzer coming across from Baldwin's been a great addition for us, and Max has sort of found some real form over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So hopefully he can play good in the big games.
Defences win premierships?
I think so. I think our back 6 is pretty strong. So hopefully, and they have been most of the year, and I think we've basically got my best back 6 together. So hopefully they can do the job Saturday.
Certainly handy to have your best back 6 together at this stage of the season. Brett Moore, thank you very much for joining us on EFL TV.
Well done to DC out there. And a tip from you in this game, Benny?
I actually think the Glen Waverley Hawks, I saw them live last weekend.
Don't do it to them.
Nah, I like the Glen Waverley Hawks. They look pretty complete from back line to forward line. The Samoan ballerina, Fia Tutu is his name. He's an outstanding player half. Played down at fullback last weekend. I reckon him as a party up forward, Carnelli up forward. Glen Waverley Hawks are a good team. I reckon they'll go straight through to the grand final.
Wow, indeed. At Divi 4 on Saturday, we've got the first semi-final between Sylvan and Ferntree Gully at Tullamore Reserve. Now, Sylvan have had some issues with Ferntree Gully this year, haven't they?
They have, and unfortunately for Sylvan, they had some issues last weekend. They were thumped by South Belgrave, almost 100 points. And great story, Sylvan. Second last year, third this year, but I just think Ferntree Gully will have too much class, too much experience, led by the likes of Paul Giannopoulos in the middle. I think Ferntree Gully should be too strong here in this final.
Okay, Gully to win that one. And Divi 1, they kick off their finals campaign this weekend. We've got Vermont and Scoresby at the qualifying final at Bayswater, the home of the Eastern Football League Division 1 finals. I've done some reading during the week, Benny, and a lot of people are saying that Scoresby are indeed flag favourites. Is it third time lucky for them too?
I reckon it could be, If you talk to a couple of people around the league, and they think that Scoresby is probably the best team in Division 1 at the moment. I think they'll prove that on the weekend. I know the swagger's back about Vermont, but Scoresby have got a great team, full of class in that midfield, led by Parker and Marcy. So I'm sure you know all about them half.
Yes.
They'll be at their best on the weekend, and I think Scoresby will be able to win.
And what's the special factor of this game, the special bonus for our fans out there? It's the 98.1 Radio Eastern Game of the Round. Or Game of the Day.
The Caravan of Courage will be out at Bayswater Oval, so tune in from 1 till 6 p.m. on 98.1 or 2 to 5 on EFL.org. EFL.org.au.
All right, that's a Saturday edition of EFL Football. There's more to come on Sunday. Back with Benny shortly.
Gets it to Bainbridge. He just popped it up into the hot spot. Kenor was standing there as a good ruckman should. Heath over the back of the pack. Scooped on by Dean Grice. Welcome back, Dean Grice. And he slots it straight through. And what an important goal for the Baronia Football Club, because we've just hit time on here in the first term.
Right, lots happening these days in the world of media, in football circles, and local footy is certainly not immune to that. And we've been able to be joined this week on EFL TV by Andrew Collins, the General Manager of Sporting Pulse, the team behind the EFL's websites, or the club's websites as well. Andrew, welcome.
Thanks, Half. Good to be here.
Great to have you on board, because I would imagine the Eastern Footy League website is one of the most popular local sporting websites in the country, if not the world.
You're not wrong. It's a really quite a unique audience out in the eastern part of Victoria. It's the heartland of Australian football.
Yep.
And the Eastern Footy League website has absolutely been a beacon for, I don't know, 6-8 years.
Okay.
At Sporting Pulse, it's something we've hung our hats on, and now, we're going from web through to sort of mobile. And it's really starting to take off.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about the mobile activity that you guys at Sporting Pulse are involved in, because what I love now that I'm away from the league is I can get the scores live on the mobile app. I can get all the updates. All the news, my tablet, my mobile phone.
Yeah.
It's all accessible on the go, which is terrific.
Yeah, and it's really blown us away. Like, we know that people are moving towards mobile. You just got to catch public transport, as I do, to work, and try and have eye contact with someone. It's virtually impossible. Everyone's down at their devices. We sort of think that there are three ways that people use sort of mobile devices, sort of, on public transport, as I just mentioned, sort of the on-the-go sort of stuff.
Yep.
There's the companion device.
Gets it to Bainbridge. He just popped it up into the hot spot. Kenor was standing there as a good ruckman should. Heath over the back of the pack. Scooped on by Dean Grice. Welcome back, Dean Grice. And he slots it straight through. And what an important goal for the Baronia Football Club, because we've just hit time on here in the first term.
Of users are coming back at least 10 times, during the weekend. Yeah, to find their scores. And it's about 150,000 pages viewed per month. It's about 40% of the EFL membership are actually out there, and they've got the device at the ground, and they're sort of interacting through the forum and lots of different means. So it's been an incredible success, and we're really we're wrapped of the partnership that we've got with the EFL.
Well, the forum's a frenzy of people discussing what's going on in the Eastern Footy League. All sorts of shambles going on the forum. Well, that's great. It's great to have access while you're on the go. Where do you see it going? How far does it go, the information that the Sporting Pulse team will be able to get to the punters, get to the fans out there?
Yeah, in terms of sort of next steps in technology, where we think things are moving, there's definitely... we've got a partnership with Google and with YouTube in terms of live streaming.
Yep.
So you've seen that. We're on YouTube at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
Not only that, we've got the live streaming.
Sing on.
Live streaming of games, the live scoring. We're really going to develop over the summer break.
Yep.
We've had a guy that's moved from. This is sort of a bit of a Devel story at Sporting Pulse. We've had a guy that's moved from sort of Box Hill out to South Marine. So
right.
he's now 45 minutes on the train. He decided to do a bit of a project. He's built a ladder predictor for next year. So for community football, for the Eastern Footy League, you'll be able to get on and the ladder predictor and that sort of stuff. And he just did it because he was bored. Out of the bird. Well.
He had time on his hands.
He had time on his hands.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a great idea. Initiatives like that, I'm sure, will be well received by the EFL public. What about the live streaming? How's that gone? Because that's a lot of sports now are trying to get live access, live coverage to their fans as quickly as possible and as often as possible. How's that working?
It's been better than we expected.
Yep.
We find, we're sort of 11 years in community sport, and what we've found is cost. There's always a barrier to entry. There's cost of hosting, cost of streaming.
Yep.
So the partnership with YouTube has allowed us to really break that cost barrier. And you've seen the EFL itself, again pioneering the tools in live streaming. Had 50-odd thousand views of the grand final last year.
Wow.
You're doing weekly games streaming now, and it's just going to go from strength to strength. People are really getting used to viewing this stuff on YouTube. And again, on their devices, and as connection speeds increase, you're just going to see a massive uptick in this stuff.
What about in clubland? The Eastern Footy League as a competition use it really well. Do clubs use it well enough?
We're just starting to break in a little bit. and there's massive scope because, again, through YouTube, through Google, you can use these things called Hangouts, and you may have seen Carlton Footy Club starting to use this Google Hangout to do a weekly show.
Yep.
So, again, the barrier to entry for clubs to do their own sort of footy shows or their own sort of interviews post-match has really been broken, and through Sporting Pulse's partnership with YouTube, you can get free access to all these streaming tools and long play and addition of club colours and drop zones for your sponsors and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of great tools on offer, and through the partnership again with the EFL, it goes right into the sort of the heartland of the club. So we really want clubs to embrace that technology as well.
Certainly a very exciting space, what's available to clubs and to competitions these days. If your club's not doing it quite right, I suggest you give Andrew a call at Sporting Pulse and see what they can do for you. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for all you've done for the Eastern Footy League.
No worries, appreciate it.
Andrew Collins from Sporting Pulse.
Baronia's 2 goals for 5, so much more accurate in this last term.
Last throw of the dice for Baronia. Watson swings it around on the left boot. What a super kick that was. We've talked about him all afternoon, and Lachlan Watson.
All right, Benny's back with us to discuss the Sunday action in the Eastern Footy League this week. Of course, big finals time. Division 1 even, I'll say that again. Division 1 is a big game, big elimination final at Tormore Reserve in Baronia. The Mighty Born Tigers take on the superstar of the EFL in the last couple of years, the Noble Park Bulls. Both teams, though, Benny, having injury concerns leading into a finals campaign.
Yeah, not ideal for these two teams, and I think it's a big reason why they actually finished 4th and 5th on the ladder. But good news for both teams. Key players are starting to come back in. Ziggy Alwyn back for the Bulls last weekend. Kicked 3 goals in their tight loss to Vermont. And I understand a whisper going around at the moment is there's a certain Chandler medalist from last year might be lining up and made a miraculous Lazarus-like comeback. He might be lining up for the Bulls this weekend.
He does it every year against Baldwin, and he's very, very good at it, is Craig Anderson. That would be a massive bonus for the Bulls.
So watch this space. He might be back. But good signs for Baldwin as well. Luke Barker came back in for the Tigers last weekend, and big ruckman Scott Houghton likely to play this weekend as well. Look, I reckon we're going to find out a lot about a few players. Tyson Mitchum, in particular, he's a really good young player who's come to the Bulls this year. Had an awesome year. He's definitely the favourite for the Division 1 and 2 Leader Young Gun Award. He'll go up against the likes of Ryan McMahon in the middle for Baldwin, who's been fantastic since coming over from Port Melbourne. He's been very good. But I reckon some of your old men, your older sort of people you coached out there some of their best ball users in Stevie Kenner, Shane Tregear, Ben Harris. You'd like those kind of guys with the ball when it comes to the crunch in a finals game. I reckon those kind of guys will be able to get the Tigers over the line and cause a bit of an upset against Noble Park. It means the Bulls will go out straight away.
Straight away after back-to-back flags. Well, we'll see. It's going to be a corker, absolute corker, and looking forward to seeing who wins that game on the weekend. Baldwin taking on Noble Park in the Choose Tap finals in the Eastern Footy League. Now, Division 4 on Sunday, we've got the second semi between the Basin and South Belgrave. They're the big giants of Division 4, head-to-head. I like it.
Yeah, clearly the best two teams in Division 4. They're likely to meet in a couple of weeks' time in the grand final. But we've got to get this game out the way first, and Dan Senchik caught up with the Basin coach, Michael Glassborough, during the week.
Welcome to EFL TV. We're here with the coach of the Basin Football Club, Michael Glassborough. Mick, absolutely massive game this weekend against South Belgrave. The two sides have been pretty evenly matched this season.
Yeah, I think it's 2 games, 12 points, so not much between the both of us. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, 2 good sides going head to head, so we're definitely looking forward to finals footy. Bring it on.
How's the mood been around the club this week? A lot of excitement going on, especially playing a side like South Belgrave?
Yeah, definitely. I've been waiting for it now probably like 6 to 8 weeks. We knew this game was probably going to come about, and South Belgrave were really good last week, so yeah, they're up and about the boards and training well so far, and the finals is around the corner, so it's exciting.
Goal kickers win matches, we all know that, and both sides have got really good goal kickers. Cole Trera in your side, and also Lucas Appleby for South Belgrave. A lot of good goal kickers out there. It's going to be really interesting this Saturday.
Yeah, it's good. I think both sides, like you said, got really good forwards, and hopefully the defenders can do our job a little bit better than their defenders, but I think that's what makes it exciting. 2 really good sides with 2 good forwards at either end, so it'll be good to watch.
Can we expect a shootout?
We probably say no, but last time we played them was a shootout, so it just depends on the conditions. We'll play attacking footy, and hopefully they do the same thing. It'll be exciting.
Finals were a lock for a long time this season, and have you been able to alter the training loads of the boys this year, for certain players?
Yeah, we have. Our ground was been pretty heavy, so probably the last 8 or 9 Tuesdays we've trained away from the venue and kept the older guys fairly fresh, and we're just back on it the last couple of weeks to sort of fine-tune, so we're definitely fresh, that's for sure.
Your side's got a good mix of experienced players. You've got Dan Braber and obviously Todd Power, and also Max Kruger, a younger sort of fella. That's a great mix for finals, isn't it?
It is. You can't rely on the older guys to sort of do those roles, so the young kids have been really good for us, and probably we're going to win and be successful. Those guys are going to take a fair bit of the load, so Tidy and the Spock, they're just sort of icing on the cake, and these younger guys got to really step up.
Been a really great season by the Basin this year. Has it been hard to keep the boys grounded at times of taking it 1 week at a time?
And I think after last year, mate, we got a bit of reality check in the first final, and you just got to mention that once or twice, and it comes back pretty closely. So we know that we're ready to rock and roll, and we get 2 cracks at it, and we'll go from there.
Does last year's final series play any role in motivation for this year's final series?
I wouldn't say motivation, but you'll definitely learn from it, and none of us really enjoyed going out the first week of finals, and we wanted to make sure we got a double chance, which we've done, and we'll just go from there.
Who are the main danger players for South Belgrave this weekend?
Appleby, Apps. Coxie's pretty important to him. For an old bloke, he's pretty dangerous and he leads really well. So I think they're very similar to us. They've got some really good old experienced players around finals time. They've got some really good young quality kids as well. So we've just got to do a team performance.
Have you got a plan in place just in case Coxie pulls on the boots?
Coxie will definitely play. You won't be able to keep Coxie out there for Saturday, or Sunday, that's for sure. So we've got a plan. He normally starts on the bench, and then we'll go from there. But he's pretty important to him.
Not taking it 1 week at a time, just for one question. Have you thought about Division 3 next season, should you make it?
I think every club would have thought about Division 3 that's playing finals. You can't just expect to win it and go up. You've got to have a plan, and we put a plan together when I came to the footy club last year, and we're sort of step 2 into that now. So we've definitely got a plan in place. If we're lucky enough and good enough to get there, we're ready to go.
Michael Glassborough, thanks for joining us on EFL TV, and all the best this weekend.
Thanks, boys.
DC just doing some magnificent work out there. What a star he is on the rise. You better watch out. He'll be coming for your job very shortly. A tip from you?
I think the Basin, you can't tip against them. Undefeated all season. I think you'd be silly to tip against them.
Right, Division 3, we've got the first semi on Sunday at Vermont Recreation Reserve, Tarara Road in Vermont. We've got the Baronia boys taking on Ringwood. Interesting this one because it's been an up and down year for both.
Has certainly. Ringwood, a good campaign leading up to the final series, and we can't forget that magnificent game last weekend where they got up in extra time. But I reckon Baronia might just be that little bit fresher. They were inaccurate in front of goal last weekend. I think they'll be able to turn that around and take their chances on the weekend. Jason Heath to have a big game up forward. Baronia for mine.
Okay, Baronia in that one. I failed to mention that 98.1 Radio Eastern game on Sunday is the Basin v South Belgrave as well.
Should be an absolute corker. Then now it's from 2 to 6 p.m. on 98.1 FM, and of course 2 to 5 p.m. on EFL.org.au. BWS and the team doing a great job as always.
We are getting closer to the last Saturday in September for the teams anyway. It's not the last, but you know what I mean. For all the teams in the divisions in the Eastern Football League, it's a very, very exciting time. Get out there, support your team, support another team if your team isn't in there, and go and see some great footy on the weekend. Benny, enjoy.
You enjoy as well, Huff?
We will do. Back with more EFL TV next week.
3 to beat did Kidzlewski. It slips out the back though. McManus bouncing ball. Empty goal square goal! James McManus has 2. Rurbach have 2.